What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another uniform review video. Alright, so in this one here, we're going to be taking a look at Crossbones' new uniform. We have his Secret Empire uniform, so let's go ahead and see what it does for him. So, the uniform bonus is going to be applied to self, increase crit rates by 25%, increase all attack by 25%, and increase HP by 50%. So they're giving him some pretty hefty bonuses here, or boosts. So we have 50% HP, that's quite substantial there. 25% all attack is also really good, and 25% crit rate. So all really strong uniform bonuses there. So I'm happy with that uniform bonus. So now we have 5 skill changes here for Crossbones. Let's see what we got. We got some bleed on there. We got some all defense down. It stacks up to 55%, but it does not apply to world bosses. We do have a 15% HP recovery here, which is quite nice. We have super armor and all defense on the 3rd skill. This one just has some burn. And then the 5th skill, we have 5 seconds of invincibility, which is fantastic. And then we have 35% all attack and 35% crit rate. So it should be quite easy to cap his crit rate because we have 25% there and 35% here. So yeah, you don't need to do much work after that. So let's go ahead and hop into the skill preview and see what these new skills look like. Alright, so the first skill, we have an iframe at the very start. Okay. But then we lose that iframe. And then the second skill, we have an iframe for pretty much the whole skill. It's a pretty short skill, but yeah, he just dashes forward, dashes back. He drops some like C4 or something explodes there. And then the 3rd skill, what are you stepping on there? Is that a claymore? Looks like a claymore. He's just popping underground there. Starts with an iframe when he pops that claymore down, then it goes no iframe, then it goes back to an iframe. And it looks like you have to wait till the very end of the skill to get that heal. Because if we look here, you have to wait for that green flash. That means you got the healing. And right there was that green flash. So at the very end of the skill, you get the healing. So that could be a little tough to get into your rotation just because of the gap in the skill. If that skill is a full iframe and safe to use, then yeah. But right there, you have too much time to take damage. So I'm not sure how easy that would be to put in your skill rotation because if you're using the 3rd skill, you're probably not having like maybe you don't have a lot of mind control strikers or something like that, because if you're taking damage, that means the boss is hitting you. So when you try to heal up with that, the boss is going to pummel you in between the iframes on that 3rd skill. So yeah, I don't see that being super safe. Of course, for Shadowland, that'd be fine. So he could be a good Shadowland character with his all defense down applying there. So there is that. What else we got here? 4th skill. Ooh, that's pretty nice. Again, he loses that iframe though. He loses at the end of the skill this time. So go into an iframe, slightly delayed iframe. We got some machine gun blasts right there. Got some miniguns in each hand, or 1 minigun and looks like an assault rifle. Then he shoots a grenade launcher at them. All right. So the skill looks really cool. It's just I'm thinking that at the very end of the skill right there, I'm gonna get punished quite badly. And then the 5th skill. Okay, so this has the invincibility, so it is not an iframe, but, oh, I mean, there's an iframe. This one has the iframe at the very end. Can we transfer that iframe to the 4th skill right there to have that 4th skill be a full iframe? Because that'd be fantastic. But yeah, we have invincibility right here, so this one is safe to use, so that's nice. Invincibility lasts just to the end of the skill, so maybe we can do this, and then right before he's about to throw that grenade, hop into the 4th skill, maybe, because then we get that protection for the start of the 4th skill. I need to check how long the cooldowns were on these skills to see what kind of rotation worked good for him. But yeah, I like the skill animations so far. They look good. It's just I wish they would have extended a few of those iframes or something like that. So the 4th skill, I'd like to have a full iframe, and the 3rd skill, I'd like to have a full iframe. Or if we're not having a full iframe on the 3rd skill, I'd like to have that heal at the start of the 3rd skill, because that'd make that a lot better. Just have the heal right there at the start. Like he heals while he's like pushing the claymore in the ground or something like that. That would be quite a bit better than having that heal at the end there, just because the skill has that lack of protection during the middle of the skill. So let's go ahead and back out here and see what kind of times we had for these skills here. So the 5th skill, oh, it's on 18 seconds. So that's a 9-second cooldown, eh? So that's going to be a little tough to get into a skill rotation. So we have a 9, we have an 8-second, or 8.5 second. Okay, so that one's on a 7-second. I don't know if we'd really want to proc on the third skill. We want the boost from this one. It's up for 10 seconds, so that's good. So the boost will always be up. Yeah, so let's hop into a little bit of gameplay and see if I can figure out some kind of rotation here. Oh yeah, but first I'll show you my build on Crossbones here. And also the uniform is at rare. Kind of the same story as Doc Ock. I don't have any of these uniforms. I was just trying to get the initial slot for skill cooldown and then physical attack, and then this third slot I would have liked for the ignore defense, but I don't have a Cyclops uniform here for the heroic slots, and then for the other ones I don't have the team suit of Hulk. I just have his the regular one, the Infinity or the Endgame one. And then over here for Beast, I never got his Uncanny X-Men uniform. So again, I don't have any of these uniform options, and I feel like I have a lot of uniforms, but two uniforms in a row here, Doc Ock and Crossbones. I don't have any of the first options, so it's a little annoying, but I mean, what you gonna do about it? All right, let's go back over here, check out Crossbones. If we go over here, as you can see what I was complaining about, get the details up, my ignore defense is very low. I was able to get the skill cooldown maxed out, but my ignore defense is suffering quite a bit. I need like 20% there for ignore defense, but his crit rate, as you can see, is very high, so he doesn't need much help on the crit rate. He's already capped out just by using the 5th skill, so I could even have a little less crit rate and be okay. His crit damage is actually pretty good too. His attack speed a little bit low. And then what else we got here? We got no Uru on him. And I've leveled up a few of the skills here. The Isolate, we have Hawk's Eye, so that's why my skill cooldown was good, but not my ignore defense. And then we have a 160 damage proc here with some ignore dodge on it. So that's what Crossbones is looking like. So let's go ahead and hop into World Boss Ultimate and see what we can do with our man Crossbones here. Alright, so here we are back at Proxima. We've got Beast Leadership, and then we have Valkyrie for her Tier 2 passive. We're going to be hopping in with no strikers here for this first test. We're only on stage 42 this time, so I've downgraded it a little bit from when I was using Doc Ock, because Crossbones here doesn't seem to have as much damage as Doc Ock, but Doc Ock has all defense down that does apply to world bosses, and he also has that 200% proc from his his uniform. So now we're going to an iframe here. We got some iframe here. Yeah, see, it's like really tight to try to keep him protected for the entire time. Move. And if Proxima starts running away at all, he gets rooted in place. So for this skill right here, when he's throwing that thing, he gets rooted in place. For this skill right here, if she jumps away like during that skill, he gets rooted in place at the end of it when he throws the bomb as well. So those are a few things that can, whoops, kind of get in your way. I didn't mean to do that. So as you can see here, I'm kind of stuck over here now. I can't cancel into a skill or anything like that. So that can really mess you up for trying to keep Crossbones alive. So it looks like for Crossbones here, you kind of want to use mind control strikers if you can, just to keep the boss rooted in place, because his tracking, he's very slow with his tracking on that 5th skill. And as you can see there, I couldn't cancel into the 3rd skill very easily because he was still in the animation, because Proxima got a little too far away. So yeah, just a few things like that you need to keep in mind when playing Crossbones here. This is just my first kind of attempt with him, so definitely if you get a little more familiar with his skill rotation or his skills in general, you can probably avoid Proxima a lot better. But like with most characters with low or hard to use skill rotations with low survivability, mind control strikers do fix that quite easily. But as we can see with this last update, it seems like Netmarble doesn't really want us to rely too much on mind control strikers, so that might be getting changed in the future. So kind of want to try to figure out a way to use these characters now where you're not heavily reliant on mind control. But maybe assume that they'll only be mind control like half the fight instead of like the full fight kind of thing. So yeah, let's see if we can do something a little different here. So you might have to just rely on using the 5th skill right here, get the damage proc, and then maybe use the 4th skill into the 2nd skill, iframe on that skill, but then your damage proc is going to be off a little bit, so it might be kind of the same thing. You just want to use the 5th skill, run around a little bit here, 5th skill is back, and then we use the 5th skill. So it might just be a 1 skill rotation to be completely safe with him and keep your damage proc in line, because on that 9-second cooldown, it's very easy for that damage proc to get off. So that's probably going to be the safest way to play him, because right here, if you can, well, it's going to say if you can time his 3rd skill, you can iframe the first part where she throws the spears, and then when the spears are coming back, you'll hop into the 2nd part of the iframe just in the nick of time. I've had that happen a few times, but you have to be really good with your timing. So yeah, I think Crossbones will take a little getting used to in terms of trying to figure out how to maximize his damage and also keep him alive when fighting a boss that is not mind controlled. But if they're mind controlled, you don't really have to worry about any of that, and you can just do whatever skill rotation you want with Crossbones here to try to proc on either the 5th or the 4th skill. Both of them seem to have really good damage, so I don't think it'll hurt to proc on either of those skills. Yeah, so overall, first impressions is uniform definitely helps out Crossbones quite a bit. I only have him at level 60, so do keep that in mind. So definitely a lot of room for improvement there. But even with that 50% increase to HP, he still seems to be dying quite quickly. Not as fast as Doc Ock, but you'd expect that because he is a combat, whereas Doc Ock with that uniform turns into a speed. So there's that going for him. The damage is good. Not as good as I would like. But if we start throwing in some all defense down strikers, I bet you're going to see a lot more damage out of Crossbones here. So yeah, just like other characters that don't have any native all defense down, you see a huge difference when you start adding all defense down strikers compared to characters that already have all defense down. Unless you're adding weapon hex to the striker list, then your characters that already have all defense down, you'll start seeing a bigger bonus for. But if you're using strikers that have like the same value, like if someone has a minus 50% all defense down and using strikers with minus 50% all defense down, you're not going to see a huge jump in damage. Yeah, so that's just kind of my first impressions of Crossbones here. I think it's a solid uniform. I wouldn't say it's kind of game-changing. Well, I mean, it's game-changing for Crossbones because he wasn't really at a playable level without this uniform, but he's not going to be doing things that you can't already do with any other combat villain. So yeah, if you like Crossbones, then definitely get the uniform because it's going to make him playable. If you think it's going to be a little too difficult to play him, then I'd say you're safe on passing on this uniform because it doesn't seem to fill any kind of niches or gaps that someone else can't do. So yeah, that's just my initial impressions on uniform here. And just like Doc Ock, if you want me to do another video on Crossbones here, maybe get him to level 70, then just let me know in the comments below. If there's enough people that want it, I will level him up to 70 and give him another go and try him out in GBR and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.